Anywhere, your smartphone, in your car, to work, or live at KissWTLC.com. We're Kiss 107.1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. So glad that you could be here with me on this sunny Cinco de Mayo. Feliz Cinco de Mayo to those who celebrate this particular holiday. Most people get this confused and they seem to think that Cinco de Mayo is Independence Day, which is actually on 17 de septiembre. But Cinco de Mayo, for those who have no idea what it is and thought it was Mexican Independence Day, it is a day here in the United States, and also I believe it's Pueblo, Mexico, that they celebrated, and it actually represents the overcoming of the French back in 1862, the Battle of Puebla. So if you're out there celebrating, understand that, know what you're celebrating, get that information together, and if you're celebrating, have fun, be safe, and enjoy. I am so excited today. We have a great show in store for you. We're going to be talking about Women's Wellness Expo. Many of you are probably saying, what is that about? We're going to share that with you very soon. But first, before we get going, those of you who are listening on social media, we want you to like, tag, and share this conversation with your play cousins, the friends up the street, and everybody you know in between. We're going to have a great conversation. I have two amazing guests that are here in the studio and a couple others that will be joining us as we delve into the conversation of the hour. In addition to that, April 26th. Now, this is something that we'll be reporting on, and I want you to know that more details are coming. But on April 26th, and this is from Reuters, Ohio police released video of a black man who died at a local hospital after repeatedly telling officers, "I can't breathe." Those words should resonate with everyone's hearts and minds as we think about George Floyd. So I can't breathe, as they pinned him to the floor of a bar and handcuffed him, evoking memories of George Floyd. In the body camera video released on Thursday by the Canton Police Department, officers are seen apprehending the man, identified as Frank Tyson, 53, who was suspected of leaving the scene of a single car accident. As a matter of fact, they believe that he ran his car into a pole and then went to the local tavern. And when the police came in, he said, "You're not going to kill me today." There is a lot going on with this conversation. I want you all to stay tuned. We'll have more information. Your guy, Ben Crump, civil rights attorney, is on the scene with this one. And so I want you all to know that I'm going to reach out and see if we can maybe get him on the show once again to have this conversation. Something that's really noted, that he'd only been out of jail I think it was 16 days he had been out of prison. He was, what he believes is wrongfully incarcerated, was in the process of overturning that particular situation when this took place. He told them to call the chief because he did not want to have any dealings with the other guys because there were things that had happened to him before with this same local police department. So more to come on that particular situation, but we understand just a month away from George Floyd's death, coming up here, the anniversary of his death. I Can't Breathe has a great significance in communities of color because we've heard so many other men say that before their demise in their dealings with law enforcement. All right, want to give you guys a quick shout out on this coming Saturday, May the 11th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be another expungement clinic. I'm getting emails and text messages and direct messages all the time. When is the next expungement clinic? It'll be this coming Saturday, May the 11th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it will take place at the UAW over on Bagley Street. I think it's local 699. Please check my mat. Is that correct? Local 699 over on Bagley Street. And that will take place from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That is in collaboration with HELP, Healing Engagement, Love Presence, Representative Amos O'Neill of the 94th District, and the Attorney General's office. And don't let me forget, because Melissa will be on me if I forget this. Also, the Public Defender's Office of Saginaw. We certainly appreciate each and every one of those entities for their time and the time that they're taking out to make this happen. Now, I want to have a quick conversation because there's something that's going on that I want to talk about on here. There is something called NIL. We all understand what NIL means now. It is famous because our athletes are now able, those college athletes are now able to capitalize on their name, their image, and their likeness. That's what NIL dollars stand for, name, image, and likeness. There has been, just a month ago in March, there's also been a bill that has been presented, passed in the Michigan House, and now is heading to the Michigan Senate, that will also allow high school players to also capitalize on their NIL, name, image, and likeness. This is revolutionary for those of us who are part of the village. So many of our young people, and it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. I would challenge some folks that are in the room today, but they're not prepared for this conversation. The reason this is interesting, because for so long, it has been, and my personal story, I might bring someone in that's personally connected to this. It has always been wrong and actually illegal for athletes to capitalize on their brand. And the people on the other side of that conversation would say, hey, they're getting an education that's good enough. They got a scholarship, and they would say all of these things. I'm like, that sounds like a bunch of hateration to me. But after being in the NBA and working with leagues and players and seeing the collective bargaining agreement, which most people don't realize, it's not about the team. It's not about the agent. It's not about the player. It is the CBA that is the Bible in terms of what players are able to get. That's a collective bargaining agreement. And when we have this conversation, it's important to understand that that is the foundation to determine what players are able to negotiate within the rights of their contract. So now, seeing that we have high school players, I want to do a show, and I'm going to have a conversation with those coaches that are out there, those players, both high school and college, and we're going to talk a little bit about your NIL, name, image, and likeness, because it's important. But the problem with that I've had for a long time, and I'm glad that they're finally getting to the place that they're allowing this to happen, is that the reason why universities had such a fight against it is because it brought in literally billions of dollars using your brand, but you not being able to profit against it. So the Supreme Court, with Kavanaugh giving the dissenting vote, the final vote against keeping it legal, said that you have a right. It is your name, it is your image, and it is your likeness. And the reason I want to have this conversation is because there's a lot of people out there that stand to gain a lot of money, a lot of our young people, both in colleges and high school, that stand to gain a ton of money. But I want to have a conversation as it relates to family members, coaches, parents, high school counselors, individuals. Because absolutely. Jeffrey Bull's now revenue sharing is a conversation that we can bring to the table. But what's important is that as we talk about this, it's important to talk about social media etiquette, because NIL now says that every individual who has an offering, whatever that talent may be, and it could even be artwork. I know that I have some students that we put together some NFTs, non-fungible tokens, in terms of Web3 design, and they're putting those things out there, and they can create and make money off of their own brand. So what this means is that your brand, you are your own corporation, and I said this a million times, and you have to be aware of how you present your corporation, what your corporation stands for, what are the values, the mission statement. All of those things now are a vital part of that conversation. Not to mention, there has to be now a conversation with young folk about their tax responsibilities, because when you start making money, you got to pay Uncle Sam. And so this is a very interesting conversation that I would love to have. I would also like to give some clues and tips. One of the things that I did when I was working with athletes was putting together opportunities for their brand, creating commercial opportunities and corporate opportunities, so how they could position themselves for these things to make some money. So I would love to have that conversation. We're going to do that one day in the future. So keep that on your schedule. I'm excited about what's going on. Excuse me, I've been in this show for about 15 minutes, and I've not given a shout out to my producer. Y'all call him Matthew, I call him White. So what's good, Matt?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Matt. Matt is on it. Matt, what's going on? How was your weekend?
Pretty good. Went down to Detroit and visited some family. What about you?
Now, Matt, I got to ask you this question because I know when we had Herman Moore on the show, you were like fanning out all the way.
Oh, yeah.
With the NFL draft being in town just last weekend, did you by any chance, because I know you got the Detroit connection and you spent a ton of time in Detroit, did you at all spend any time going out there to be a part of the 275,000 people that were able to set a record for the first day, and then a total 3-day record was set as also for the state of Michigan? Were you able to get down there?
I wanted to, but I wasn't able to. I know some people that were able to go, but myself, I wasn't able to. There's
no way in the world I was going to that kind of madness. It reminded me of Atlanta. We went down to the All-Star weekend in Atlanta. Anybody knows traffic on Wednesday is crazy in Atlanta. And so when the All-Star came in, it was impossible to move. All right, so we're going to I'm going to bring these ladies in, and we're going to start this conversation, and then we'll get into thank you very much, Matthew. We'll get into, we want to make sure that we can see Miss Vicky Hill over there. All right. We want to make sure that we get into this conversation. I have some amazing women that will be joining me today for today's conversation as we talk about Women's Wellness Expo. And so I want you guys to please share, let folks know that Women's Wellness Expo is coming up very soon on May the 18th. I want you to get involved with this conversation. So I have with me the lady of gospel, the voice of gospel music, Vicky Hill. Vicky, this is the first time you've ever been on Straight Talk.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad to have you. What's that?
No chaser.
We're giving it to you straight, no chaser, no filter. I am so glad to have you here today. And then also, we have Dr. Pam McLean with us as well. You know, she is a fan favorite. It's interesting. I was sharing with her before the show started. My mother's like, I like that Dr. McLean. I'm like, I didn't even know she knew who you were. But she said that she loves the way that you carry yourself and you always have such a great personality. Not to mention, I told you that you remind me of my cousin, Iris Burns out there. You guys have such a striking resemblance. It is so crazy. But it's great to have both of you with us today. We're talking about Women's Wellness Expo. Who would like to share with us what exactly is Women Wellness Expo? What are we talking about? Go ahead, Dr. Pam.
The Women's Wellness Expo.
If you could come closer, I'd greatly appreciate it.
So the Women's Wellness Expo is an event that is being co-sponsored by Delta College, Women of Colors, Michigan Public Health Institute, and the Saginaw Daily. And all of us got together and started thinking about what might we do, honestly, for Women's Heritage Month, but time would not allow us to do it in the month. So we pushed it back so that we could get women together to talk to each other about how to stay healthy, mind, body, and soul. And we also wanted to make sure that we use local presenters, local knowledge stores, so that we could really lift them up and have people have a wonderful opportunity to just commune, have fun, get invigorated and inspired by a wonderful keynote speaker, a wellness coach, Elizabeth Atkins, who also is a co-host for her own show, Healthy Mind.
All right, so give me that collaborative once again that's putting this on. You said some really great names there.
So I'm the Chief Officer of Culture, Belonging, and Community Building.
Okay, we're going to talk about, that's a whole conversation in itself.
All right.
Chief Officer of
Culture, Belonging, and Community Building.
Share with the people what that means, because I know that since Dr. Gavin has been there, he has been very active in trying to make certain things happen. And you're coming aboard, and I think I met you in some meetings that we were out there initially. I knew of you, but that was my first time meeting. What does that mean?
So if you think about the way in which the work in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space has morphed over time, positions are created that are represented in under a lot of different titles. The thing that I think was great about the title that Dr. Gavin created and put in his cabinet is it's culture, belonging, and community building. So he really wants Delta College to be a place that reflects the culture of all of the groups that converge there, who should all experience a sense of belonging. And of course, we should mirror the communities that we serve in the Tri-Counties. And so the community building arm of my work has been a really gratifying piece of the job, being able to truly collaborate with community partners in a way that is mutually and reciprocally beneficial.
Wow, that's a lot. It sounds like a smart person's job. So give me that collaborative once more time, all of those groups.
So our collaborative includes Women of Colors, the Michigan Public Health Institute, and the Saginaw Daily.
All right, awesome. And so I'm going to ask really quickly, Vicki, for those who are listening, before we get into the conversation, it would be important to help them to understand what is it Women of Colors, right?
It is Women of Colors.
I was hoping I got it right.
You got it right with the S on the end.
Yes.
We are a diverse group.
Okay, because I always am like I always screw that up. So I'm glad I got it together. Yes. Women of Colors. Explain to our listening audience what exactly who you guys are. Because I know my mom was like, I think I want to get involved with that group. I'm like, who? Vicki Hill's involved. I was like, what are you talking about? Women of Colors.
Come on, Jerry.
So explain what it is, because you guys have been doing a lot of work in the Saginaw community for a long time. Absolutely. So let's talk about what it is who you guys are, and then we'll talk about what you've been doing.
Women of Colors has been serving the community for 31 years. We celebrated our 30th anniversary not too long ago with a big celebration, but we do a lot of community work. And the work that we do is so very important. We do a lot of collaboration with a lot of different organizations. We're just giving back to our community what we feel our community needs, whether it is we go into the schools and we teach prevention. We also teach in the schools a BOTVIN class, which is, learning about social skills.
What was that?
BOTVIN.
BOTVIN.
BOTVIN. Yes, BOTVIN life skills is what it is. So we teach that as well. We teach online classes as well. We go to transitional homes such as the Tri-Camp. We go to the Emmaus House. We go to a lot of different places and we teach prevention when it comes to drugs and alcohol. We teach that as well. We do a lot of things in our community. Our biggest thing, of course, is our Warm a Child for Winter, which is our coat drive, which is happening every year in November. We give away close to 1,000 coats every single year to kids who can't, or mothers who necessarily can't afford to get those coats for those kids. So we provide our community with a lot of different skills. We love what we do, and that's why we continue to do so.
Now, I know that the name is Women of Colors.
Yes.
But I was corrected by your illustrious. That's absolutely. She said, Pastor, men can be involved as well.
Absolutely.
So men are not excluded from this group, even though the name.
Excluded. We do not exclude men. We do say colors, Women of Colors. But if you notice our symbol, we do have the little blue in there and the little pink in there. So that's
it may be a branding challenge for some brothers.
The blue is always represented male, right?
Absolutely.
So yes, we do not discriminate.
Okay. So now we are looking at this Women's Wellness Expo, Mind, Body, and Soul. And I want to, why this particular event? What's so important about this one, Dr. McClain?
I think that this event is especially important because Women of Colors recently had a really great opportunity to look at health disparities, in particular in the African American community.
This was through in partnership with Michigan State.
It was
Is this correct?
Actually funded through the Michigan Health Endowment Fund.
Okay.
And Michigan State University provided technical support.
Yes, I remember that.
So essentially, they put us on the road to looking at health issues in our community and where there are health disparities. And so as a result of that work, we've been able to do another leg of work where we actually are implementing actions around our findings. All that being said, when we look at women's health issues, we know that women of color and women of colors often have health issues that go undetected, that go supported. And so we wanted to do the Women's Wellness Expo to not only raise awareness, but also to let people know about resources that are in place so that they can take care of themselves.
You know, when one of the things that we have been blowing the whistle and trying to get out for a long time is that the access to quality health care for Black folks in particular, and all people of color. I always separate those. On this show, we talk about black issues. This is straight talk. No, and I'll be honest. I lean into those conversations of the village. But when we talk about this and we look at this through a macro lens of all people of color, it's important to understand the disparate treatment that folks get when it comes to healthcare. When you all were doing the work, and if you could qualify the type of work that you all were doing in this research, when you talk about that work and that research that you guys did now leads to you all taking these types of actions, what kind of data were you looking at?
So interestingly, when we started this journey, the Michigan Health Endowment Fund provided us with the data that showed that there were disparities in African Americans following up for their care after a visit to an emergency room. And consequently, they allowed us to lead a collaborative community-based participatory research project.
This is huge.
Where we got to decide, how do we want to figure out why people won't go back to the emergency room even after they've been given a prescription for follow-up.
You know, I became a train the trainer for implicit bias for healthcare. And what I found is that the healthcare industry is one of the leading industries where people experience racism through treatment and through practice and through just something simple as how the security person at the door treats people coming in. So this is this was happening here in the city of Saginaw, in Saginaw County,
Absolutely.
And you guys this is huge.
You say that because when we sat down and did listening sessions,
yes,
we did that. When we talked one-on-one to a lot of people, this is exactly what they told us. The stories that we heard, you just can't imagine. And we found out the reasons why they did not go back. It was the unfair treatment.
Absolutely.
It was the doctors that did not really listen, that would sit there with a pen and paper, not even look at their patients, or would pass them off from person to person to person. And they decided, well, they're not doing anything for me.
And don't have something that's already. I'll tell you the things that are really are seen disparately. Diabetes. When folks come in with issues of diabetes, they just assume that you ate yourself that way and you're gonna keep doing it. So you know they allow you to sit and they handle other situations. Also, if there's any history of drug use or drug treatment, we were talking on last week's show about the stigma that goes along with those individuals who suffer from drug addictions. But also when they go into hospital, people don't realize that doctors are not blind. And, you know, we say that justice is blind. I struggle with that thought as well. But people don't realize that doctors, like anyone else, nurses, like anyone else, they live in communities that create biases, how they see things, how they view things, and they bring those things to work. The problem with it is that you're supposed to be saving people's lives, that people's lives are on the line. So we're looking at this Women's Health Expo, and you guys are now putting into action things that are important to share information and to begin to tackle some of the things that you found in your research. I noticed on your flyer, and they can see this on your website. What is your Facebook page, your website,
It's
Vicki?
womenofcolors.org.
Womenofcolors.org. And it says mind, body, soul. That's a whole message in and of itself. What does that mean, Vicki? Mind, body, and soul. Why did we put those three parts on here?
We put those three parts together because we are dealing with your mind. We are definitely dealing with your body because we're trying to get you information out as to that will help that inner man, that inner body. We're talking about your soul. We're coming from the religious aspect of that.
What, y'all? Religious?
Absolutely.
Spiritual? What?
Spiritual. We're coming
Okay.
from that aspect as well. It all works together.
Absolutely.
All of it. And when I say even with the body, we have Bodies by Ron, who's going to be there. And he's a fitness expert. He's going to be there.
He is like the Energizer Bunny. I sit there and watch him, and I'm amazed. Like, this dude is going.
You don't actually do the class with him. You just
yeah, I watch him and get tired.
I was in his class, so
okay.
I know how he works, and he's really, really good. So we're trying to deal with all aspects of it. I believe, and I'm sure you do too, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
But if you don't have that knowledge, what do you do?
I always say knowledge is power, therefore ignorance is dangerous. And when we look at this, man is a trichotomy. We say that word generically. We're body, we're a soul that has a mind that lives in a body. And so if we're going to effectively talk about health, we've got to deal with all of those aspects respectively. And so it's important for us to make sure that we're ministering. I heard a study I was reading a study that said that folks who have a spiritual connection, a higher power, a faith, tend to be more healthy than people who do not experience spiritual worship or spiritual experiences. What are your thoughts about that, Dr. McClain?
I've actually heard, I can't cite it, but I've actually heard similar research that people who have a faith life have better health outcomes than those who don't. However, one of the things that we found in our research is that sometimes people's over-reliance on spirituality rather than getting mental health care was a problem.
Wait a minute, say that one more time.
People's over-reliance on spirituality rather than getting mental health care was a problem.
One more time for the people in the balcony at the church. People's over-reliance. Come on, doctor, don't leave me hanging.
These are our findings, all right. But people's over-reliance on spirituality became a barrier to them getting mental health care. And so we thought that was a compelling finding because we wanted people certainly to live out their faith walk, be spiritual beings, but we also didn't want them to make it a substitute or couple it with important mental health care.
Come on.
That can, yeah.
I tell people of faith all the time, we can't be so spiritually and heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. There are some spirits you got to cast out, but then there are certain things that you have to counsel out. And we have to make sure that we both do both of those. And now if you got issues going on and you're not feeling well, okay, tell the church to pray for you, but then take yourself to your doctor and ask your doctor to let them know what's going on so that we can be made well. I think it's such an important piece. I'm excited about this. We're going to take a quick commercial break. But before we take that break, we're going to I want to share something that Yvonne Daniels, our content and brand manager for the station, says. She said, that's why I think you should take care of yourself to the best of your ability so that you can stay out of the hospital and the doctor's office as much as possible. Then you can pray to Jesus all day long. Amen. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stick, stay, don't go away. We'll be back with more of Straight Talk.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Need a reboot, Mid-Michigan? Ryan Wassick here from Bell Wassick GMC Buick, your only local Buick dealer and home of the lifetime warranty. Spring has sprung, so let's have some fun. This month, I'll help you reboot your old ride and save up to $3,000 on a nicer, newer car based on the price of the car you pick. It's out with the old and in with the new. So if your old ride's a hunk of junk, don't let it leave you in a funk. Bring it to me, and I'll help you shut it down. Because there's never been a better time to reboot your old ride and save up to $3,000 on a car you love. Worried about your credit? Don't get your wires crossed. My For the People credit approval process is like a reset button. We only work with the banks and lenders who want to say yes to you. So this spring, reboot your old ride, and you can save up to $3,000 on a nicer, newer car based on the price of the car you pick. But hurry, a deal this good will shut down fast. I'm Ryan Wassick, and I'm your dealer for the people. See all my rides at RyanApproved.com. That's RyanApproved.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines actual discount. Offer absolutely ends May 31st, 2024.
Progressive presents Flo and JB announcing a monster truck rally.
And here comes the Obliterator. Whoa! And he's up on two wheels. That can't be safe. Oh, I don't recommend flipping your car backwards. Did he even check his blind spot? And the car's on fire. I definitely don't recommend that. This is one of my recurring nightmares.
Progressive is all about keeping it safe, so bundle your home and auto for 24/7 protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Coverage not provided for monster trucks. Not available in all states.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously. Why can't we go inside? I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
This is the KISS community page where you can find out about all of the great things that are happening in Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Eta Upsilon Omega chapter is celebrating 40 years of Hats Off to Mom. It's an evening gala, May the 4th at 6 p.m. at the Horizons Conference Center. Save the date, it's the second annual Kianda Cinco de Mayo celebration, May the 5th from 12 to 9 at the SVRC Marketplace Outdoor Pavilion. Break the stigma with the Sigmas. It's a mental health summit to provide tools to address mental health, build community, connect with providers, learn coping skills. May the 18th from 1 to 3 at 1243 South Jefferson Avenue here in Saginaw. It's the 4th annual Grit Your Grief. Run, walk, roll. Run the runway at MBS International Airport May the 18th. There's also a virtual 5K May the 18th through the 31st. This is presented by the Children's Grief Center of the Great Lakes Bay region. Faith Ministries Church present their prayer breakfast May the 18th at 9 a.m. Tickets are $35. Being held at the Great Hall Banquet and Convention Center, 5121 Bay City Road, Midland, Michigan. Guest speaker, Linda Kemp Rivas. Community organizers, please submit your events at least 2 weeks in advance to kisswtlz.com.
Hey, it's Steve Harvey, y'all. Here's what happened on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Every decision you make today will affect your tomorrow. And you got to start thinking like that. Too many people live in the now. Too many people want to do what feels right and good to them today with no thought about the consequences of tomorrow. Now, are you supposed to worry about tomorrow? No, you're not supposed to do that. But you are supposed to prepare in the event that you are here. Kiss 107.1, simply the best R&B.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on Kiss 107.1.
This is Kareem. We're back with more of Straight Talk. We are in the studio today with Dr. Pam McLean and the gospel lady, Vicky Hill. But also, we're going to bring into the social media stream. So you're going to hear really quickly from one of my favorite people on the planet. And that's Erina McKissick. And what's the last name, Erina?
Hines.
Erina, she got a new last name. Y'all know how y'all do. Y'all get brand new, get new names, and make great things happen. So good to have you, Dr. Erica Hines, on this platform. We have been talking with the ladies of Women of Colors, and Dr. Pam, are you also a part of Women of Colors, or are you a part of the collaborative with Delta?
I am both.
She is both. So we've been talking with the Women of Colors about this amazing expo, this Women Wellness Expo. And when I saw body, soul, spirit, is that body, mind, and soul? When I saw body, mind, and soul, I thought about you when I came across the word soul, because folks don't know this. If you don't know, you better recognize Dr. Erina is not, I'm going to call you doctor. Dr. Erina is not the one to play with when it comes to the word. You are absolutely amazing. You have wrecked prayer breakfasts that you have done and on Sunday mornings. And so when we talk about this women's wellness, how important is the soul to the connection of the three?
Yeah, great question. So thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here tonight and humbled by all the things that you shared, for sure. Just excited about the invitation from Women of Color and the opportunity to be a part of this phenomenal event that's going to be taking place. And so I was excited to hear that they were including the soul as well, right? Because we are indeed three-part beings. And so spirituality is so very important to our wellness. And I would just go with scripture with that to answer your question, right? 3 John verse 2, beloved, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. So God connects our health and our well-being very literally to the condition of our soul. And so when we are not well in our soul, when we are not healthy in our spirit, when we don't have a healthy connection to God, then we can't love ourselves the way that we need to, right? And then we also can't love others and show up the way other people need us to as well. So it's extremely important. And I'm excited to have the opportunity to unpack that with the ladies that come.
Reverend, I'm so glad to have you here. See, because we can have a little church service real quick. Because when you were saying that, I thought about St. John 10:10. You know, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So he wants to rob us of our peace. He wants to rob us of our physical health as well as our mental health. But the word says that God came to give us life and abundant life. When we talk about wellness of the soul, what does it mean to have abundance in your living?
That is so good. So abundant living literally means for me to walk in the will of God for my life. When I'm walking in God's will, when I'm walking in God's purpose, I am receiving every good thing that he has for me. The fruit of the Spirit is evident in my life. And because that fruit is evident, I am able to give thanks in all things, right? Not for all things, but I have a spirit of thanksgiving. I'm able to rejoice. There's joy, unspeakable joy. There's peace that surpasses all understanding because I am healthy in my spirit and I'm living in that abundant life. The abundant life is not about how many tangible things you have. The abundant life is not about how much money is in my bank account, right? God is a provider. He will certainly meet my needs, but it's not based on money or my house or my car or what kind of clothes I wear. Right? The abundant life is the stuff you can't pay for. You can't buy peace. You can't buy joy. You know what I mean? That is the abundant life. And so when I have a blessed assurance that despite what happens in this life, I am sound and sure of my relationship with God, of his love for me, then I'm able to walk in the abundant life.
That is such an amazing, discovery for many people that he desires to have this for us. Now, as we were talking about the different components, and I want to share really quickly about the other individuals as we bring in the other individuals that are here in the studio back to the front. And we're going to put them in the social media stream. That was my cue to my producer. There we go. And I want to just kind of share really quickly and about what's going on. So we're Saturday, May 18th. This is the Women's Wellness Expo, Mind, Body, and Soul, 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is at the Delta Downtown Saginaw Center, a place that I spend a great deal of time. I absolutely love it. I want to say to Delta College, amazing the investment that you made in our downtown area and the quality by which you gave our residents and our citizens of a type of space to come to. I'm there often with young people. I know that there are other coalitions and community members that are a part of that space. And I just want to say, Doctor, I know that you are not the person who is responsible for that, but I do want to say, as an ambassador for Delta, thank you for believing in and showing through your investment to this community what you believe that this community can be and what we deserve. So absolutely amazing space. If you've never been there, this is a great opportunity for you all to go check it out and check out the space. The keynote speaker, then we're going to get into the other featured guest, is wellness coach Elizabeth Ann Atkins. I have no idea who she is, but let me know, what is it about Elizabeth Ann Atkins that she should be the person who's coming in to communicate that message? Why Elizabeth?
Well, you should come to the expo because you will be amazed by Elizabeth Atkins. She is not only a native of Saginaw. I believe her early childhood experiences were in Saginaw. Her mother is Judge Marilyn Atkins, who's written her memoir.
Okay. Now we're getting familiar.
She is the co-owner of Two Sisters Publishing with her sister, and she has written over 40 books or authored over 40 books. She also is just a fierce advocate for women's wellness. She does wellness coaching. She is a motivational speaker. She is just the living embodiment of women's empowerment.
Wholeness, whole.
Absolutely.
Yes. I did take a chance to just kind of Google her. I had never met her before. I'd never seen her before, but as you were giving pieces of her, she is absolutely amazing. Are you all surprised as you guys are connecting with women in this community, the amazing hidden nuggets of talent that exist in our own community? You said something at the very beginning, Dr. Pam. You said that we wanted to bring the treasures, the folks from our own community, to be the messengers for this particular event. Why was that so important?
Well, I made up my mind early on that I was going to do community building in a way that really shined a light on our local talent. Please don't get me wrong. I've spent many years as an academic wishing that I was one of those high-powered speakers that get paid $50,000 to come and sit on a stage. You know, God knows there's no hate there.
Right.
But at the same time, when they're gone, we still have to do the work. You said knowledge is power. And I would just like to add, from my perspective, people can come and give us knowledge, but the use of knowledge is powerful.
Absolutely.
So who's going to use the power if not those of us who live in the community, who are rooted in the community, who know the community and have great solutions, ideas, interventions, custom tailored for our community. So I would love for that to be the hallmark of my work.
She just got me excited over there because I often tell people that information is powerful and it's important, but how to use the information that you get is where the real money is. You know, I can give you have you ever put anything together? I put together. I am not a mechanical person. So when they ship me the box and I open it up and there's pieces and screws and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I get out the instructions. I just look at the picture and start putting pieces together, and I always end up with extra parts. So I know I didn't do something right. So how we use that knowledge and how we're able to implement that knowledge is where the real gold is. All right. So when we look at all of these things that are going on, let's talk about some of the speakers that you guys have as guests here. We have Dr. Erina Industry. What is your focus? Erina, when you look at your role in this whole exemplary pie full of talent and wisdom, what is your role? How do you see your role as a part of this function?
Yeah, so I'm going to absolutely stay in my lane at this event and focus on the spiritual wellness. That's the task that I was given. So I'll be leading a workshop entitled The Gift of Long Suffering, How to Overcome a Faith Crisis. And so we are going to unpack what that looks like. Long suffering is a part of the fruit of the Spirit, but it doesn't get talked about a whole lot. And so what does that mean? What's the difference between just suffering and long suffering? And how does that equate to really understanding God's love for us? The fact that he desires for us to prosper, the fact that he said, I know the plans that I have for you, right? Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. And yet we go through harmful things. So how do I reconcile with that? And how do I wrestle with my faith and come out in a space where I am still spiritually well? And so that's my role and what we'll be unpacking.
And so we have also with us Dr. Kai Anderson. We already talked about LaRon, who is BBR Bodies by Ron. Is he going to get a workout? Or is he going to talk about health?
He's going to actually do a workout.
Oh, good luck, y'all. I went to one of his boot camps and I was like, this dude, when does his battery run out? Check his back. Take the batteries out. Because he goes and he goes and he goes like the internet. What's that? He's that ever ready. Man, he's ever ready all day long. Chanel Booz, Sonia Coleman. We have Dr. Bahar Salahi, did I get that right? Mm-hmm. All right. Sean Shutt, Professor Maggie Zimmerman, and Dr. Delisha Pruitt. So these amazing women are having conversations about what are they, if I'm coming to this event, what is it that I can expect these individuals? Because I've heard a lot about Dr. Kai Anderson. So share with me, what should folks expect?
And let me just stop you there for a second, because Sean Shutt is a man.
That's
male.
Yes.
And he's going to be talking more on the human trafficking.
Ooh.
He's going to hit in that area.
Well, you know what? Human trafficking, and people don't realize this, but Michigan was just in a very situation wherever major sports events like the NFL, the NBA, the NFL draft, the NBA draft, where those occur, the rates of human trafficking in those areas increase directly proportional, like go through the roof. So what that lets us know as we have this conversation and we're talking to these women is that we help to perpetuate the things that are happening in our community. There are people who are sitting in our classrooms, who are in our churches, who are at our schools that are participating, because as these events come, so do people come in. They come in for these types of things. So I'm glad that you guys are incorporating these types of conversation. Sean, please, no disrespect. I know that you were not the only, that Ron was not the only man, and I did recognize, but I did say your name, and so I apologize for that. But let's talk a little bit about Dr. Kai Anderson, because I have heard a lot about Dr. Kai Anderson and what she will be doing. So she's coming in. What will be her function or her role?
Well, Dr. Kai Anderson, I believe, deals with the mind.
Yes.
Yeah, because she's either psychiatrist or psychologist or both. But she deals with the mind. So she's going to talk about the healthiness of your mind.
All right. And then we have Chanel Booz. I want to give these so that we can talk some of the topicals that are a part of this conversation. And we don't necessarily have to go by name, but just share with us some of the things that you'll be empowering the women who come to your expo on next weekend. What are some of those topics?
And you know what? I didn't bring that list with me.
Okay.
It tells me exactly what they're talking about, because all of them have unique topics that they're speaking of. So all I can tell you is it's going to be absolutely great, unless you remember some of them.
Well, we wanted to have something for everyone. So, for example, one of our workshops that our keynoter will be putting on is the power of pleasure. And we wanted to talk about women.
That sounds scandalous.
It's not scandalous. But
the power of pleasure.
About women's sexuality and women's sex. We wanted to do workshops that talks about our mind. We wanted to talk about healthy eating. So Sonia Coleman will be talking about vegan eating and the health benefits to that. We really wanted this to be a day of enlightenment, fun, engagement, information, something on the menu for everyone. And so initially our theme was health matters, mind, body, and soul.
Okay.
And we created our schedule where every person should, if they choose the rotation, be able to do something for their mind, for their body, for their soul, because they work in tandem. So that was our approach when we designed this.
All right. So I want to read some of the stuff that you have on this flyer. And I don't know if I sent it to my producer. Did I send it to you, Matt? If you could throw that in the stream so that folks can see it and they can actually share it. So if you guys are watching it, you can actually, those who are online, I want you to go ahead. There is a QR code that's available. You can scan that. Yes, technology allows you now to scan your computer, your computer screens, or if you're looking on your phone, use another phone, scan it. And is this a registration form that's on here?
It is a registration form where people can pre-register so that we can make sure that we have a good count. However, if you do not like to use QR codes, we are certainly allowing people to walk in and attend the event.
Absolutely. Because some people don't know how to use that QR code.
Absolutely. Like I said, more people than you would believe.
Right. And a lot of the older generation, they don't deal in computers.
Absolutely.
And they don't deal in those QR codes. They wouldn't know what to do with that. So you are able to come right there.
So day of.
Right there, day
okay,
of.
that's important to know.
Absolutely.
So if you think, I didn't get to register, you don't have to worry about that. You can come day of. I want to read this other information because I think it's important for those that are listening. So they're saying, join us for fun, free, informative wellness event that will provide education and health tips on relevant women health topics. Engage with women's health experts in the Great Lakes Bay region. Attend breakout sessions that include topics such as mental health, personal growth, preventing intergenerational trauma, so very important, maternal health, and more. Network with like-minded attendees and connect with community organizers, and invaluable resources. Hear an inspirational message from keynote speaker Elizabeth Ann Atkins. We just talked about her, best-selling author, wellness coach, and co-host of My Healthy Mind. I love that title. All right, so when we look at this and we talk about how can people connect with you all, let's share with them how they can get connected and hey, I want to know what's going on with Women of Color. How can I get involved with this event and what you got coming up?
Women of Colors, yes, you can connect with us You didn't get that. You can connect with us. You can go to our website, which is womenofcolors.org.
Did I mess it up again?
You did, but that's okay. We forgive you. That's all right. Evelyn might not, but we forgive you.
Women of Colors.
There you go. Or, we have a monthly meeting every month, and it's the first Thursday of every month. And right now it's being held in the Success Academy, which is located at 1000 Tuscola at 6:00. You can always come down there. And as long as you attend 2 meetings and you feel like you really want to be a part of us, you're able to join our organization. I'm telling you, women, it's a great organization to be a part of. We do empower women as well as all of the other services that we give to our community. We are trying to be, and we are a sisterhood. We uphold each other. We uplift each other. We empower each other.
And you all, I mean, when I look at your roster and I know the people that are a part of your organization, if there's something that you really are trying to get done or off the ground or get connected or make something happen, y'all got some powerhouses that are part of your group.
We really do. And one other real important piece of the puzzle that we have too is called Stronger Together.
Okay.
Now, Stronger Together is a program for someone who may have lost someone, who have been going through some tragic situations in their lives. This is a group that comes together and support each other. You are allowed to sit there and talk about what the issue is. You're allowed to cry if you need to, because we're going to cry along with you. But we're also going to share what we've done and how we've done, if we've done, to be able to get you through that situation. So that meets every first and third Tuesday at 6:00 in the same place.
And give that website again one more time, because all of these dates and times I'm not going to remember, but we might remember that website. Very easy.
www.womenofcolors.org.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something, Vicky. You don't have to say www anymore. We date ourselves on this radio program. Womenofcolors.org. Don't forget the S on colors. Womenofcolors.org. All right, really quickly, we only have a few minutes left. Time goes so fast. Aaron, you are in the stream. What does a successful weekend look like? What do the takeaways look like when you think about what you hope these women will receive when they come? What does that look like to you?
Yeah, it looks like women coming with an open mind, with a positive energy, with a spirit of expectation, that they come in like sponges and they soak up everything that they possibly can, because there's some things that you might think, oh, I don't really need that right now, but you want to put it in your tool bag because you just might need it a little ways down the road, right? So coming in and literally just taking in everything they possibly can to help better themselves. I think that would make it a successful weekend.
All right, Dr. Pam, when you look at this weekend and you say, these are your metrics, these are the goals, the things that you're hoping are the things that drive this conversation, what are those things that are in your heart?
I want people to come and be open to sharing, to learning, to being rejuvenated, to find hope, to find commonality, because sometimes as women, we isolate ourselves and we don't necessarily always know the importance of sisterhood. And I just want to say this about Women of Colors. Women of Colors came into my life a couple of years ago when I needed a group of women that would allow me to get in where I fit in. And Women of Colors is hard to put in a box because it has been an organization that has withstood the test of time, being responsive to the needs of the community. And like a good mother who raises each child differently, who responds to their needs differently, Women of Colors teach their membership like that, as well as the community that we're called to serve. So it's a very special organization.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was the best commercial. We need to pull that out and put it in a little clip, put it on Instagram. That was an amazing, honestly, that is an amazing way to talk about an organization, especially, your stature in the community, to say that even as a well-seasoned professional who has had some level of accomplishment, that there's an organization that you can come to that still is able to meet the needs that you have available is such an amazing thing. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to wait to the end of the show to give my flowers, because I believe Evelyn McGovern, I call her Mama Evelyn. She is a phenomenal woman, and I absolutely respect her. I love her, and I've been telling her this for a very long time. You all don't know it, but Women of Colors and help We're trying to figure out how we can get together on the areas where we have significant similarities in terms of the work that we're trying to do to make it happen, because it's all about collaboration. Vicki, you have been an essential piece of the puzzle of Women of Colors for a very long time. Let's talk about your journey. Let's talk about where you are, and give me a forecast of what you see going forward in the future.
So I've been with Women of Colors for about 15 years. And at the time that I joined Women of Colors, like Dr. Pam, I was looking for something. And I saw Women of Colors in the Dow Event Center, which was the Civic Center at that time. And I liked what I saw. I liked how they took care of the youth. They mentored the youth. So we go into the juvenile system and mentor the youth. I got a chance to do that. I went there monthly to mentor the youth that were at the juvenile center. So I got a chance to do that. I liked what they did. I liked their sisterhood. I liked what they stood for. I needed that sisterhood in my life. And so Women of Colors has been great for me. So there, like Pam talked about, her personal story. Okay, so when I talk about our big event at the end of the year, which is Warm a Child for Winter, that's personal for me. That's personal for me. And that's what I love to do. I give back a lot to the community because I love to help. That's just my mission, is just to be able to help wherever I can help. So where I see Women of Colors going, I see us going, the sky is the limit. There is no ceiling for Women of Colors. The sky is the limit.
That proverbial glass ceiling no longer exists, right? Shattered into 1,000 pieces.
Absolutely.
I want to say this because it's so important. I'm working with so many men in the community, 60 plus men that are part of this organization, Help, Healing, Engagement, Love, and Presence. And we've received a lot of attention because we're Black men going into the community. But what I want to say, and the kudos and the shout out that I want to give to Women of Colors, is that everywhere that we have gone, they've said, oh, you know what? Women of Colors comes on Tuesdays. Oh, we're at the juvenile. Women of Colors, they come in and they do XYZ. We're in the schools. Women of Colors, we were over at 6. I was looking for you all because I saw your names on the doors. And so you all as a body have been doing phenomenal work for a very long time. And you all have been carrying many of the community burdens and trying to address those issues. I'm still a man. You're still a man. So those conversations that you all have been having for a very long time. So I want to say that because I think because help is something different, because we're Black men that are coming in to do the work. But you women have been blazing a trail and keeping the work moving and making sure that the village was well, even when we were not there. So I thank you all for the work that you have done. I thank you. I was going to say that Evelyn was my favorite, and I realized that I told Erin that she was my favorite as well. And then I thought about Dr. Pam is sitting here as well. All of my favorite women. I want to thank you all for your time and attention and the work that you all are doing in this community. It is transformative for our community. We need it. It is such a blessing to be able to sit and to know you all by name. I want to thank you guys that are tuning in this week. Like, tag, and share this conversation with other individuals. Come out May 18th. It will be something for every individual that comes. Women's Wellness Expo, May 18th. What's that time again?
9:30 to 3 p.m.
9:30 to 3 p.m. That is womenofcolors.org. Thank you all for were you going to say something, Dr. Pam?
Men are welcome.
Men are welcome. All right. We're going to have to work on the branding on that one. But we thank you all for your time and attention. As always, God bless you all. Grace and peace.
You've been listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen by the host